Never I wish better than this. When you only got 100 years to live.
So I was expecting to have a mic, but now I don't know what to do with my hands. I'm probably sure I was going to drop it at the end, so that's why they thought I saved it, right? It's a good-looking crowd, most of you. And you've now witnessed 13 speakers, many of them probably overcoming their own fears with public speaking. So there's a little trick that we know to make everything less awkward, and it's for the audience to picture the speaker naked. That's out of the way now, okay? Good. That's not right, though, is it? Okay. So we know that you already have an imagination, probably imagination. But I also want to show you how powerful that tool is. Do not think about a pink elephant. Are you not thinking about the pink elephant?
I'm thinking of a blue elephant.
Well, our brain cannot process the not in that, right? Anybody grow up saying, I don't want to marry a person like my father? And what is the image in that thought? Your father. How many times has that happened? Or my last boyfriend, my last girlfriend. That is the image. So you have to change your thinking on how you envision those things, right? All right. What we're going to talk about is remembering the future. That's a bold statement, Cotton. How are you going to do that, right? Do you know that your brain cannot tell the difference between your imagination and a memory? It can't tell the difference if you play it over and over enough times. And with a cheat code or a life hack, you can learn to remember the future and be there and do things as you've seen it. So, any athletes, former athletes, people that wish they were still athletes, know about athletics? Okay, here we go. So, I'm not much taller than I was as a sophomore in high school. I was 5'4", 119 pounds, starting varsity cornerback. And that's in football, not the quarterback, but the guy in the corner, right? I was fast and I could jump. I actually had a 40-inch vertical and a 4.6 speed, all right? I beat out a 6'2" senior for my position. First game that I played as a starter, the fourth best running back in the state of Pennsylvania. Tackled him 12 times. 5 were solo, just me and him, mano a mano in the open field. 3 of those 5, he was helicoptering over me as he got in the air and thrown in the air. And a lot of the stuff that's been in my life as far as successful things that have been accomplished really didn't get pointed out until I actually met with my defensive back coach a few years ago, and he talked about the discipline that I had. I didn't have records. I was not the one that they feared about, but I was disciplined. And he told me about coach talks that they had about not running to our side, because that was my first game. That was not the 12 times that I tackled him. That was 1,012 times that I had tackled that guy. I had played that image in my brain so many times prior to that game. They tell somebody running, scoring a touchdown, act like you've been there. I don't believe in the whole celebrating or tackling somebody, getting a first down when you're in the middle and then turning it over to, act like you've been there before, because I've been there 1,000 times before. All right? Book, The Psychology of Winning by Dennis Waitley talks about this, how most athletes do this. You see Winter Olympics and the guys in the luge or in the bobsleds, they're practicing every turn, right? They know what's coming up. They know how to react in every situation, right? So in a football scenario, that's what I just did, because that's what I had to accomplish or overcome, because I was 119 pounds playing against guys that were 250 pounds. The only way that I could do it. Study. This has been studied. This concept of visualization as improving abilities is been studied countless years. The Dennis Waitley book that I talked about, Psychology of Winning, has been around since the 70s. But in 2015, Ohio Musculoskeletal and Neurological Institute did a study. 29 folks were put in arm casts. Complete immobility. 29. 14 were asked to, on a regular basis, imagine themselves straining to work out, to increase, full range of motion. I mean, they could not move their wrist, so this was not, okay, try your hardest to move. It was immobile casts. But they had to imagine themselves. Now, can you imagine? Close your eye. Glenn's done it. We've used the imagination already. Now, I'm hoping to put me the cherry on top, not add meat to this, cone, right? Close your eyes and try visualizing yourself lifting your arms or lifting up a dumbbell without your arms being moved. Give me your side and just imagine that. Some have trouble with that. Go ahead and open. Some people have trouble. Okay, they see it, but they try to move. They try to motion. Or they can't see outside their body to see that. So it is a learned skill. It is not something naturally. But what we have naturally is 77% of our thoughts are negative. And we worry. We think about things in the negative in the future, right? We remember the future all the time in the wrong way. All the things are going to happen that typically don't happen, right? But you can work it harder. But in this study, the 14 that were in the cast worked out mentally for 4 weeks. Other 15 did no workouts. Anybody in the physical therapist world, what happens when your arms are in casts for a long time? Atrophy. That was expected. Those 15 that weren't working out had a 45% muscle loss. 45% muscle loss in their arms. They overcome that. Those that worked out only had a 25% muscle loss. They not only regained their strength faster, they also increased their strength faster by using those techniques in the future. That is just one study. There are so many studies out there. If you were to Google that, we did a live video on the Speak. You can go check out the SpeakOut page, and there were studies about this where they've actually recorded strength increases up to 136% from just imagination. So if it's that powerful in the strength world, how can this be used in other lives? If you're not in a sport, you're not trying to, okay? 2005, a buddy of mine, we started a book publishing company. I had no business being in the book publishing business. I was a college dropout and I was an engineer. We went 0 to 7 figures in 2 years because we were talking to CEOs of major corporations publishing their books because we had visualized and practiced those conversations so many times. It was not the first time that I sat down with Mr. Bigwig. I'd seen it multiple times. I had imagined what he's going to say. Well, I can't spend that kind of money, I can't do this, all right? That's how that power can be used. All right, that song that I came out to, I actually had a storyboard to my life about envisioning where I would be at certain ages and when I was going to leave my normal, regular job. And the day that I drove over the James Allen Connector played out the same way that I envisioned it 5 years prior, actually, because this is not a new skill that I've developed. So how this works I'm already out of time. Wow. Belief, action, and results. Belief, action, and results. You will take more action if you have belief, but what if you don't have belief? You can imagine it. If you play yourself that over and over in your head, that's the on-ramp. That is the cheat code to additional belief. When you have that belief, you'll take action and get your results. Then you'll have real belief. And that cycle is like a slinky. It'll go up, but if you stop it, it also goes down. So, thank you.